We are discussing chapter number 16, which is management of natural resources. Management of natural resources we are going to talk about. Earth, and from the earth environment we get natural resources. This can be classified as renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Renewable, the word has come from renew. Both of the word has come from renew. So renewable resources, that means they are continuously available for use. Non-renewable resources, that means they will get exhausted with time. So renewable resources, examples are sunlight, wind, water, because they are available to us, they are not going to exhaust. And non-renewable resources like the minerals, like the fossil fuels, they are going to exhaust in some time. So natural resources, they can be classified as biotic and abiotic resources. This biotic resources, this can be obtained from forest animals like the fossil fuels. The abiotic resources, these are those that come from non-living and non-organic material. So there are certain terminologies we need to know. Refuse. Refuse means something being offered, you say no. Plastic, a big no. Why? Because it's non-biodegradable and it's a health hazard. It's a waste that cannot be managed properly, and it's very dangerous because the content here, if you just happen to heat it, you'll understand. Reduce, that means we need to reduce the use of things, right? Like if you're not sitting in a room where the fan is switched on, tube lights are on, it's always a good idea to close them. You need to minimize the energy consumption as far as possible. Reuse, you can reuse the thing again and again rather than just buying other thing, right? You can reuse it. Repurpose, if the purpose of one thing is achieved, if this particular thing can be used for some other purpose. Recycle, when the material has no use, now it can be changed into different form so that it can be used. So this is recycling. So why do we need to manage the resources? Very important question is why we need to manage the resources. See, the resources are in limited quantity. There are, population is ever increasing. Mostly in the growing economy, the population is increasing, so because the population would need resources. So the demand for resources and consumption is also increasing. So there need to be a proper management in order to minimize the usage of resources. So the exploitation of these resources can be prevented or it can be minimized. Forest and wildlife. These are biodiversity hotspots. Biodiversity means different types of organisms which are present on the earth, on the place, on the local area or in the globe. So this can be from micro to macro level. You can talk about biodiversity. The main idea is conservation. That is, the biodiversity needs to be conserved. If at all there is a loss of biodiversity, there will be loss of ecological stability. So what are the stakeholders in this forest and wildlife? First, the people, if this is say a forest, the people living around the forest here who are dependent on this forest and its product, they are one of the stakeholders. The forest department, the government control, the government own land, they own the land and they control the resources from the forest. These are forest department. And the industries that will use the product from the forest, like the timber, the paper, the resin, gum medicines. Also the sport equipment industry. The cricket bat is made up of wood, willow wood. So sport equipment industry also is relying heavily on the forest. The people who want to conserve the nature, they know the power, or they know the essence or essentiality, the necessity of the nature, the biodiversity, the forest and wildlife. So these wildlife and natural enthusiasts, they are also one of these stakeholders. For example, just take bamboo. Bamboo is used to manufacture huts, baskets, and also for food storing. And the fishing is largely made up of wood, implements this in agriculture. So the government of India, and we will not talk about just India, it's whole globe, we should have a broad perspective. So there is a Amrita Devi Bishnoi National Award for Wildlife Conservation in the memory of Amrita Devi Bishnoi, who actually sacrificed her life to protect the trees in 1731. Management of forest. The local communities around have been working traditionally and trivially for the conservation of forest and trees. Magsaysay Award recipient Sundarlal Bhoguna, he gave momentum to Chipko Andolan. The Chipko Andolan started in Reni in Garhwal, and it was started by villagers, and especially these villagers were women at Reni village. They tried to stop the commercial wood contractors from cutting the tree by hugging the trunk of the tree. They would not allow the authorities or the contractors to cut the tree because they know that tree is the life giver to us, to everyone, not only to human beings, for the animals, for all the organisms which rely directly or indirectly on it. What is the people participation in the management of forest? There has to be some acceptance and some harmony, right? So the acceptance of local who live in harmony with these natural resources is very, very important, vital for forest conservation measures. I'll give an example. In 1972, the West Bengal Forest Department, they found that they have failed in maintaining the degraded sal forest. So surveillance and policing that has led to complete alienation of the people, which led to clashes between the officials and the villagers. In order to overcome this, the department was forced to change the strategy they are adopting. Forest officer Mr. A.K. Banerjee, he involved villagers in the protection of 1272 hectares of badly degraded sal forest in Arbory Forest Range of Midnapur district. In return, he allowed villagers to collect fuel wood and fodder on payment of nominal fees. Also, 25% of final harvest was given to village community. This is how, in the management of forests, the people participation is sought and is necessary. What are the methods of forest conservation? The most important is to grow forests, that is silviculture. It is method in which the trees are grown and cultivated. We need trees. We have to, if you cut one, you have to make 100 trees, or you have to grow 100 trees. Social forestry deals with the management of and protection of forests. Agroforestry, this includes land management for the cultivation of trees and shrubs. There is Red Data Book. This is a kind of document or a book, and this document is for recording the endangered and rare species of animals, the plants, the fungi, as well as some local species. So this book will tell you that which animal, which species is needs more attention, and more work has to be done in order to save them or to protect them. Water for all. Water is everything for us. Water is required for fulfilling the needs of everybody, not individuals, human, not human, but everyone. So human activities have altered the availability of water in various regions. For example, India is dependent on monsoon. So common irrigation methods like the dams, the canals, the tanks, these are used in various parts of India. These methods are maintained by local people. So this helps in storing water which can be used in agriculture. Not only in agriculture, the daily needs of common people, this can be met through this water. I'll give an example, Ganga Action Plan. This plan was launched by Sri Rajiv Gandhi in 1986. So it is to improve the water quality of Ganga, the most sacred, you can say, river of our country, by treatment, by diversion and interception. This also includes the treatment of domestic sewage and industrial waste or effluents before releasing into the aquatic life water bodies. Dams. Large dams, water blockage you can say. Large dams are made to store waters that can be used in irrigation in order to generate the electricity For example, Indira Gandhi Canal in Rajasthan areas, this helped a lot in bringing greenery in different regions. So there are so many examples you can take out. Dam has some certain advantages, like it controls floods, it provides supply, water supply, electricity, waste management, recreation facility, and wildlife habitat. But there are criticisms also, social problems, economic problems, and environment problems. And the construction of dams, this can cause excessive sedimentation, waterlogging, sudden floods, soil erosion, large-scale deforestation, health hazards, and loss of the livelihood of the people who reside there. There were ancient mission methods of watershed management system. How? Because there is a criteria. Water, so this is river or sea. So because of the sunlight, the water becomes steam, evaporates, and it becomes cloud, and it falls onto the hills and all places which we see. So there is, water never goes up. We have to use a motor. So it comes down. So while it is coming down, and eventually it reaches the place from where it started, these places are getting water. So this is somewhat related to watershed management system. So there are different methods of watershed management system. These are known since ancient times. One of them is known as khadins in Rajasthan, which consists of long earth embankment, which is built across the lower hill slopes. The area enclosed by the embankment, this is known as khadin or bund, which collects huge amount of rainwater down the slope, because as I said, water only comes down the slope, and subsequently and in result, this water saturated land can be used for the crop production. Talabs are there. These are other mode of watershed management system. It stores water for drinking and household consumption purpose. There are other things also. If you go to different parts of the country, Kuls in Himachal Pradesh, Ahar and Pines in Bihar, Eris in Tamil Nadu, Bandis in Madhya Pradesh, and Surangams in Kerala. Coal and petroleum. So they are the non-renewable natural resources. Means once they are used, they cannot be replenished or renewed. So coal is formed by the remains of tree which is buried inside the earth. The petroleum is formed by bacterial decomposition of the dead plants and dead animals. High pressure and temperature over the long years are needed for the formation of this petroleum. And these both coal and petroleum, they are fossil fuels, and they're getting used at higher rate. So they'll be exhausted soon. What are the disadvantages of fossil fuels? Burning of fossil fuel, they release large amount of carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide and other harmful gases. And these gases, first of all, they cause air pollution. And the harmful effect we know about the air pollution, which we see in different parts of the country. And this also raises the Earth's temperature and leads to global warming, because these gases, they are the greenhouse gases. They will keep the heat. They will not allow heat to go out, and more heat means more global warming, that is increase in temperature. And because of the increase in temperature, the glaciers will melt, and this will increase the water level, and the low-lying areas will get submerged in seawater. So what are the steps to minimize the pollution for fossil fuels? We can reduce the use and burning of fossil fuels. We can use the CNG in transport vehicles in order to reduce pollution. And there are certain alternative sources of energy like the hydroelectricity, the nuclear, the solar, the wind power, and biogas. We can use that. So this is the brief discussion about this topic. Thank you so much and take care of yourself.